Concerning our thesis that the ambiguity and lack we feel is woven into the fabric of life and there's no avoiding the void, the next place to go is obvious. How about Jesus? On the cross, God not only died, but he also killed. More specifically, in the crucifixion, God put to death the entire system under which the people of Israel had existed for centuries. The regime of Moses, sometimes called the Old Covenant, with its law, sacrificial economy, priesthood, and temple, has been crucified with Christ. Just like the serpent suggested to Adam and Eve that there's a sacred object just beyond their reach that would provide that sense of wholeness they crave, if they would only transgress the prohibition and bite that apple, the Jewish temple at the time of Christ mirrored this dynamic. At the heart of the sanctuary was a space called the Holy of Holies, into which anyone except the high priest could not venture. They were prohibited by a massive, foot-thick, floor-to-ceiling curtain called the veil that quarantined the sacred from the profane. God's presence was said to dwell there, and to trespass was to incur the sentence of death. Here's the interesting part. As Jesus died, he uttered his famous cry of dereliction, my God, why have you forsaken me?" At that moment, the unthinkable happened. The veil in the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, destroying that impediment separating divinity and humanity. If that weren't scary enough, what happened next is even more bizarre. Nothing. Nothing. The priests and religious elite just sewed it back up and continued the charade. What they didn't realize then, and what few religious leaders realize now, is that this event signaled the death of this entire way of doing spirituality. Through the torn veil, and through the torn flesh of Christ, Hebrews tells us, a new and living way has been inaugurated. A spirituality that not only makes the old covenant of Moses redundant, but also makes a mockery of the idea that any sacred object can give us fulfillment. Not even God himself can fill that God-shaped hole.